Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to Make It Happen Monday. One thing you can do this week to better your business. My name is Kim Beer, and today we're going to be talking about how to find a free business mentor. If you've been to an event where I have taught a class or you've listened to some of my other videos, you may already know the story of how in my first business, I actually ended up bankrupt. And I'll just tell a little short version of it here because it's very important to the topic that we're talking about today. So when I was 25, I'd already had a few entrepreneurial endeavors. They were more or less work at home kind of deals and part-time, sort of those side hustle kind of projects you find early on in your entrepreneurship journey. And then when I was 25, I was presented with an opportunity through a bunch of events that I should start my own business. So I did. And I didn't have any business training. I had no idea what I was doing. I will be flat honest with you. At 25, I look back and think, my gosh, I really needed to do a lot more research. I needed to know a lot of things. But you know what? When you're 25, sometimes you have some hubris that gets you into situations, right? So I come from an entrepreneurial family, but my entrepreneurial family is in agriculture, and I was starting a printing business. So the two things really kind of don't translate completely well. It's a little bit different running a storefront printing business than it is running a farm. So I had no idea what I was doing. And I was open for probably about 2 years. And then things started getting really, really bad. I started out with a business partner and that failed miserably. And I was left with the business. I took out some loans, some of which were from my parents. My mom at the time, my dad was gone, passed away. But what ended up happening was I ended up failing miserably. It ended up causing depression. It was just a horrible circumstance all of the way around. And I felt like such a failure when I had to file for bankruptcy in order to be able to get out of some of the situations I was in. And of course, the money being borrowed from family members made it even worse, right? So I stood up in front of a federal court judge in bankruptcy court in Kansas City. And the judge asked me a very pertinent question. He said, "What are you going to do to never, ever be in front of me again? If I forgive your debt, how can you guarantee me that this isn't going to happen again? What have you learned?" And I told that judge that I would never own another business. And when I was standing there and in that moment with my lawyer, having been through this experience, I truly meant that. And then I went back to my corporate world and a corporate job. And 6 months into that, I was like, I can't stand it here. I had, even though it was probably one of the lowest points in my life to be able to have to quit that business, I had tasted the freedom that entrepreneurship offered. And I knew I wanted to do it again. So the second time I attempted entrepreneurship, I was in my late 20s. I wasn't that many years after the bankruptcy and after the first business had failed. And I knew that I needed help. I knew that I had made mistakes in the first business. I learned about some of those mistakes in the process of the bankruptcy, but I also knew now that there were things that I didn't know and I needed help. So I reached out to the Small Business Administration and got a advisor, which is what's on the screen here, which is through the SBDC. The SBDC that I went to was in Warrensburg, Missouri. Most of the time, SBDCs are associated with a university of some kind. There's one in Kansas City at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. If you're watching this anywhere else in the country, there is an SBDC probably near your state university. So or in several other places, if not just there. So they're located all over, they're dotted all over the country. And they do have business advisors. And when I sat down with that business advisor and learned about business, the business advisor helped me be able to figure out how cash flow would work for a new business that I had an idea around, which is the one I still have today. It's morphed and changed since then, but it's important to note that that business advisor guided me. He didn't do it for me, but he guided me to the resources I needed to write a business plan, guided me through the resources I needed to get a bank loan so I didn't make that mistake of borrowing money from family again, guided me through resources to help me find employees, to help me understand how my business would work. He was very, very integral in the success of my business. And I am thankful that I took the time to do that and find that advisor. I had another business partner at the beginning of this, and she really helped as well. She eventually left the business and I went on my own. So today, that was a long time ago. So today, I'm not going to go into how many years because it doesn't matter for this video, but today I still have that business. I incorporated my business. I moved on and became successful in it. Has it all been all sunshine and roses? Absolutely not. But it has certainly supported me very well and continues to support me very well. And every year I get better at entrepreneurship. There's another reason for that. I continually go back to these wells of mentorship when I want to grow my business. A few years ago, about 10 years ago, actually, I started doing a lot of speaking for an organization called SCORE, which I'm going to tell you more about in a moment. And that organization helped me not only get my speaking career out and launched, but I decided to take advantage of their resources with a SCORE mentor. And my SCORE mentor, Mark Wolfson, was integral in my business growing again. I was already doing okay. He helped me understand a whole lot more about how to make my business better, how to grow it, how to grow my revenue. And he's helped me a couple of times be able to excel at that. And I'm very appreciative for it. Now, neither the SBDC advisor or Mark or any other SCORE mentor that I've worked with has cost me any out-of-pocket money. These organizations, the SCORE organization is volunteer supported, and SBDC is supported by our taxpayer dollars. SCORE is part of the SBA, and so is the SBDC locations. So all of these organizations and advisors, I always tell people that they're like, oh, it's a free mentor. And like, yeah, it's kind of a prepaid mentor. So you've kind of prepaid with your taxpayer dollars, especially for the SBDC mentors and for the organizational assets that SCORE provides. So as an organization, the people that you work with inside SCORE are volunteers and they're volunteering their time. So if you are an entrepreneur, I highly recommend that you do, even if you have a successful business or feel like you know a lot about business, especially if that knowing a lot about business comes from either secondhand knowledge or something that you have completed as far as a certification or something more academic. I can tell you real world entrepreneurship is vastly different from academic studying of entrepreneurship. There's a real difference. It's like reading about how to drive a car versus actually driving a car. It's beneficial, but sometimes it doesn't always like boots on the ground solve issues. So anyway, bottom line, get some advisors, get some mentors. Even if you've been in business for a while, this can help your business grow. It can help you get over rough spots. And if you're new into entrepreneurship, this is the way to set yourself up for success right from the get-go. So no matter where you are, if you're in the ideation stage, here's an opportunity for you. If you are in the startup phase, this is a great place to go as well. If you are an accomplished business owner and wanting to hit a growth phase, this is another reason to have a mentor. So let's dive into how to get these mentors and advisors. So the first place that I would recommend you head is to americassbdc.org. And that's the site that's up here on the screen right now as I'm talking. And you can input your zip code and find a local business advisor near you. So again, they're probably going to be local to your whatever university is the closest to you. So make sure, or college. I know in Kansas, there's one at one of the community colleges in Overland Park. So, it'll be close to you. Get in here, put your zip code in, contact them. Know what you kind of want to do, whether you're in the ideation phase, startup phase, or whether you want to grow your business, but make contact. Find out about the resources your particular center has. Some of the bigger ones have a lot of things. I've spoke at an SBDC in Southern Missouri that has an entire campus associated with it for classes for entrepreneurship. I've gone there and taught classes in their area, in their building. It's amazing. Other SBDCs are going to be smaller and have a few advisors to them. So find out what resources are available in your area. After you've looked at the SBDC, go ahead and navigate over to SCORE. Now, SCORE's national website is score.org, and SCORE is going to have chapters pretty much close to those SBDCs across the United States. Some of the smaller communities, you may want to go to a larger area SCORE if your area doesn't have enough mentors or if it's not really an active chapter of SCORE. So SCORE is a group of volunteer retired business owners and executives that help mentor other people who are up and coming. Now, the retired used to actually mean retired. SCORE has spent a lot of effort in the last few years to recruit younger entrepreneurs to be able to help as well. So you may work with someone who is retired. You may actually have a mentor who is in business for themselves. The mentorship itself is free. It's at no cost to you. It does require you to do things. And I don't want to sell any of these programs as that these people are going to do things for you. No, they're not. They're not employees. But what they are people who have knowledge and guidance and systems in order to help you be able to get yourself into the next level of your business or get started up or work through that ideation phase so you can get started on the right foot right from the get-go. So at SCORE's national level, you're going to find some things here. You can enter your zip code to see the local resources around you. So local events and mentors. I'm going to pop over here to Kansas City's SCORE website and just give you a little bit of a clue as to what you can do. You can find a mentor. You can get business training. So there's events, courses, recorded webinars, startup roadmaps, templates, and resources. Honestly, SCORE has so much to offer you as far as helping your business. A couple of tips that I can give you. Some SCORE mentors are better suited to help you than others. In other words, it's like any type of a relationship that you would have in life or business. Sometimes there's a lot of synergy, sometimes not so much. If it so happens that your SCORE mentor and you don't jive, don't get upset about it. Don't take it out on SCORE. Just reapproach the organization and say, hey, this isn't, I don't think, working for me. I would like to maybe trade to another mentor or see if there's somebody who has expertise more in my industry or whatever area it is that you're wanting to grow in. Please know that your SCORE mentor may not know everything about the industry that you're in, and honestly, they are mentoring you on entrepreneurship, not so much on what to do in your day-to-day business activities. That's where you would find a mentor inside your own industry who's who's walked that path ahead of you to be able to help you with that. Your SCORE mentor is going to help you with getting into business resources, writing your business plan, working on specific parts of what you need to do to grow yourself as an entrepreneur and your entrepreneur skill set. So please use them accordingly. But again, if you don't jive, ask for a different mentor. And you can have an SBDC mentor and you can have a SCORE mentor at the same time. I'm referring to the SBDC folks as mentors, and I think they prefer to be called advisors. So you can have a SBDC advisor and a SCORE mentor at the same time. You can also find other local resources that are supported for providing you free access to people who have a lot of knowledge around entrepreneurship. And I'm going to give you an example of an organization in Kansas City and then encourage you to find that organization type in your own area. So Square One is the organization that I'm going to talk about here. And Square One is an organization that is located or centered out of the Mid-Continent Public Library System in Kansas City. Now, not every city is blessed to have a Mid-Continent Public Library System. Kansas City just happens to be. And this organization, library organization, has a division that is supported by the Kauffman Foundation, which is an entrepreneurship organization in Kansas City that supports entrepreneurs in a variety of programming, both paid and free. And Square One has a grant from the Kauffman Foundation to provide entrepreneurial help to people who seek them out. Now, this is Kansas City, and some of their programming is available nationwide. I do webinars for them. I do frequent classes for them. And some of those are available virtually, and you can attend them from your office or your home anywhere in the world, for that matter. Others of them are in person and located throughout Kansas City. So if you happen to be a Kansas City native, you can go to this website that I have up on the screen here and take a look around and see if there's something inside of Square One's business center that you would like to access. I teach a class through them called the Business Model Canvas. It's a fun hands-on class where we talk specifically about your business and about how to utilize visual business planning as a tool to help you either start or grow your business. So that's one thing I do with them, but they have a host of other programs, and they too have advisors and counselors that will sit with you in very specific ways. So you can reach out to them to inquire about that, or you can look for a similar organization in your own area that may have a completely different name, may not even be associated with the library system, although I will tell you that would be the place that if I were you, I would start in your local area. If you don't happen to be a Kansas City native or in the region of Kansas City, the next step I would take is going to the library and finding out resources that would be available to you at no cost or low cost in starting a business. The truth is that there are so many places, and the SBDC is going to know a lot of them, that are out here to support you in your endeavors as an entrepreneur. Small business is good for this country. It is good for everyone in it. It's good for the economy. It is a boon for all of us. And there's a lot of resources out there to support people in their entrepreneurial endeavors and creating small businesses. So I encourage you this week to take a look at what is it that you need in your business, and then see if you can take an hour or two out of your day to research some connections that you might be able to make either with SCORE or your SBDC or some other organization in your local area that can help you become a better entrepreneur. Have a great week, and I will see you either around the blog at bemorebusiness.com for Make It Happen Monday, or I'll see you back with a video next month.